What it do? It's your boy, Ticket the Game Spitter. And if you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button. And if you've been here before, hit the like button. And share. Sharing's caring. And comment. We gotta keep the we gotta keep this shit going, even after the video over. And as the world turns and that loud pack burns, we're gonna talk about Travis Scott today. 8 dead, 300 injured in a mosh pit. Man. And the sad thing about this, it's gonna be hella lawsuits for Travis Scott, I believe, and definitely the venue, the astroworld place in Houston.
I'm gonna make this pencil.
They're definitely gonna have to pay, and I believe it's gonna be some shit on Travis Scott. He had that Travis Scott meal at McDonald's. I don't know if it's still there or not. That motherfucker gone.
Storm.
And I don't really fuck with this nigga music, but hearing this shit, and it seems as if the whole music industry got a whole satanic vibe where these motherfuckers is dying, going to jail for massive amounts of time. It don't seem like it's good to be a rapper, man. When you signing your record deal, you might as well be picking your motherfucking casket out and planning your funeral or getting sized up for a prison jumpsuit, man. Shit ain't good, man. Y'all boys got to start putting a different energy out there, man. This shit ain't it, man. Bodies at a mosh pit? Now let's read and see what was going on, man. That nigga Travis Scott looking like a failed science experiment. At least 8 dead and many injured after crowd surge at Travis Scott Astroworld Festival in Houston, officials say. Members of a densely packed crowd surged towards the stage and were crushed against each other at a Houston music festival Friday night. At least 8 people were killed and scores of others were injured in the chaos, witnesses and officials say. The victims were 14, 16, 2 were 21, 2 were 23, and 1 was 27 years old. Man, 14, 16, you got took out the game at the comp, man. This ain't right, y'all. While one of the other victim ages remains unknown. Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner announced in news conference Saturday evening there were no people reported missing. The mayor added that day. It's enough that went on. At least 25 people were transported to hospitals, and of those, 13 remain hospitalized Saturday afternoon, the mayor said. 5 of those were under 18 years old, he added. There were a lot of unanswered questions, Turner said. Over the next several days, several weeks, could even be longer, we'll take an in-depth look at everything that took place, why it took place, what steps we can do moving forward to mitigate an incident of this kind from taking place. About 50,000 people were at a sold-out Astroworld Festival at NRG Park, the stadium complex where Astrodome and the NRG Stadium stand. When the incident began after 9 p.m. CT, Central Standard Time, officials said. Video from those events showed the performer on the outdoor stage. Rapper and organizer Travis Scott paused and looked on in confusion as the ambulance with flashing lights moved into a densely packed crowd. Once Travis started, all hell broke loose. Concert goer Alvin Galvin, 23, told CNN. All of what is to be 50,000 people ran to the front, compressing everyone together with little air available. So can you imagine being at the concert and everybody pushing forward, and then it's only yay big, and everybody pressing against each other. You can't even fucking breathe because everybody pressing forward. Motherfucker, breathing hard, man. That shit had to be crazy, man. And not saying this is Travis Scott's fault. I mean, he didn't know that was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it's just a whole satanic vibe over the music industry, man. Gavin added, there was a mosh pit in every single direction. The company responsible for organizing the event, Live Nation, issued a statement. Oh, they gonna get cooked, saying they were heartbroken for those lost and impacted. We will continue working to provide as much information and assistance as possible to local authorities as they investigate the situation, the statement said. Shit, y'all on the hook, man, and I believe Travis is too. Y'all gonna have to cash out, and it's gonna be a heavy lawsuit. I realized that people were dying. People there described being increasingly squeezed in the minutes before Scott's performance began, and feeling crushed and seeing others pass out and scream in terror once the show started. Damn, that had to be like a nightmare, man. The crowd was squishing me so much that it felt like I couldn't breathe. I can imagine Emily Mugaya, 22, told CNN. I'm probably messing these names up. I started screaming for help. I felt so scared. It felt like I was going to die, baby. You might was going to. It just wasn't your time, man. The amount of people I saw get hurt, passed out, bleeding, crying is crazy, Mujaya said. When Scott came on stage, everything started to happen. Audience member Anita Amper said, people just went berserk. I realized that people were dying, Amper 22 told CNN. The crowd, for whatever reason, began to surge towards the front of the stage, which caused people in the front to be compressed. There's only so much room. Houston Fire Chief Sam Penna told CNN Saturday morning, people began to fall out, become unconscious at the news conference. People probably was getting stepped on and everything, I can imagine. Another woman in the crowd, by the Ekins, told, ultimately passed out. It was apparently crowd surfed to safety. She wrote an Instagram post. I know it's got to be some footage on Instagram or something of this actual event. A lot of people probably couldn't even get to their cameras or was falling. It's probably crazy. Or you see some people with their cameras and cameras getting knocked out their hands. I know it was crazy. As a timer on the screen counted down to 30 minutes to Scott's performance, people compressed up against each other and were pushing forward and backwards, and it got progressively worse, Atkins told CNN Saturday. I was having constant pressure on my chest, constant pressure on my back, and from the side, I was being squeezed, she said. Right when he started performing the first song, I looked at my boyfriend and said, we have to get out of here. He said, I can't, we can't. Eskins recalled, damn. And I just remember looking up and passing out, damn. And then going in and out of consciousness. She said she remembers being pulled over a fence and ultimately waking up for good in a chair, she said. The deadly surge came hours. At least one person was injured when people rushed through the VIP entrance event in the afternoon. And it came 2 years after 3 people were trampled and injured at the same festival as many rushed to enter in 2019. Friday's horror brought an early end to what was supposed to be a 2-day event as Saturday's portion was canceled. Astroworld is in the 3rd iteration of having been launched by native Houstonian Scott in 2018 at the park, which used to be the site of Six Flags Astroworld. More than 300 people were treated at Field Hospital. Damn, I know them nurses was working overtime. More than 300 people were treated at Field's Hospital set up near Festival Friday. Penna said one of the patients hospitalized is 10 years old. Man, cut it out. And that last check was in critical condition, Penna told. Damn. Some of the patients were in cardiac arrest or they were taken to the hospital. Penna said further details about the injuries were immediately available. The causes of death will be determined by medical examiner, he said. Man, y'all, this is a serious situation, man. We're going to listen to a couple people that was there, man. And we're going to close out, man. That shit was crazy, boss.
None of us got hurt, but we saw a lot of people like pass out and just get injured.
So describe it for me. Tell me where you guys were at, and then what started happening.
Well, like before it even started, like people were like shoving and like pushing, and you could tell like, oh, this is gonna get crazy. And I think Don Tolliver was like the first set that I was like, yo, like I'm kind of scared for my life at this moment. And then obviously like Travis was at like another stage, and then I was, oh man, there's just so many people there. It felt like a million people there at once, like people just like passing out, and you could barely catch your breath.
So the guy over there was telling us like the crowd started like pulsating back and forth, and it started feeling like a weird vibe or something.
Yeah.
And then stuff just like erupted. So tell me about that.
Yeah, it just like it would kind of like you like people would push forward, and then like the people at the fence, they didn't want to get pushed all the way squished, and so they'd push back, and so you just kind of like moving back and forth, and then people would start moshing. They open up a circle, and then people start pushing back and forth, and so like a lot of people don't want to do that, but there's also a lot of people that want to mosh. So people want to stay because it's Travis. That's like one of their favorite artists, but then they get hurt or injured, and then you see like the people, the medical team trying to like help people out, and then there's also a lot of people that were being ignorant and just like stomping and like not caring about the people that fell down, and so there's just a lot of both sides of that. So
that is crazy. That sounded like that was barbaric for real.
So tell me, did you guys see people on the ground? Like people actually fall out?
Yeah, we tried helping people.
Tell me about that.
I mean, there was a person who fell, and everyone was trying to pick him up, but the crowd was too tight. So we just kind of like trying to pick him up, and so we had to like push people away, and then we were like 3 of us would grab him up at once because they couldn't get up themselves.
Just the best. Just in general, everybody was. Somebody fell, they're like, try and push, open, no, and the people just kept on. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. I guess the best way to describe it, like the sardines from SpongeBob when they're jumping. That's what it felt like the whole time. Like the whole time they were just going down. People were getting trampled. There was a couple times where we fell, but it wasn't anything.
Trampled. So they was getting ran over. I ain't watched this yet. That's crazy. I knew it had to be like that.
Compared to other people, like young women and stuff, it was just terrible all
And the
around.
people that fell, were they adults or would you say they were teens?
We got one more.
There's really nowhere else you can go. You're just making it harder on the people in the front. And most people at most Travis shows, I feel like, know that. At this one, I feel like it was way too many people. It was way too many people that didn't know that, possibly, more than likely. And it just got crazy for everybody up there that was basically getting sacrificed.
Were you guys getting pushed?
Sacrifice. That was a strange choice of words. When you say satanic vibes, man. This shit is a little freaky, yo.
Too?
Oh my god, yeah. I probably caught like 20 elbows to my head.
Damn.
In the mosh pits.
Yeah, I got a bloody lip. My legs all bruised up.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
is it worth going to a concert at this point, man? You gonna leave like you was an MMA fight damn near after you leave this motherfucker. Wake up sore, ribs broke, motherfuckers is all fucked up. This motherfucker got a sore lip. You would have been better off at the crib with some of your friends smoking and drinking and listening to the music loud. That might be the play.
I mean, it's normal for us. We're used to it. But like I said, there was other people there that really couldn't handle it. They were panicking in the crowds. I was trying to keep some of them calm because they're skirmishing. They're trying to wiggle their way out. I usually create elbow room just to try to get some breathing space. I couldn't even get no elbow room. My hands were actually crushing my chest. So I was panicking a little bit. That's when I finally got out.
So you guys are being pushed, I mean, literally packed in where you have...
Only the strong survive in a situation like that, y'all.
You can barely even move your arms.
Like,
yeah.
You're so packed in, you feel like you can't breathe sometimes, Even if this event was outside, and we're so compressed that it's like you feel like you can't breathe,
Yeah, like if I was standing here and I'm trying my hardest to push away from my body and I can't, and my hands are just coming back in.
Right here.
My hands are just literally coming back in and getting pressed on my chest.
Yeah.
So imagine, I could literally see somebody not being able to breathe in that situation and literally just passing out or maybe stop breathing and die. Like I could easily see how that would happen.
And you firsthand saw people starting to collapse.
Oh
Yeah.
I got to the point where we had to walk over people's bodies. Like it was crazy. Like,
man, cut it out. Believe some people. Just imagine some people that gotta live with those thoughts of walking over bodies. Someone was dead. You never know if they was dead. Most of them probably wasn't, because only 8 people died. But just think, you don't know if they dead at that point. Man, there's some people gonna be having nightmares and horrified from that shit, man. They might want to sue too, man. That shit can mentally fuck you up, man. They may never go to a concert again, man. They've been mortified from this shit.
It was just bad. Like, we had to walk over people. Like, you know, there's not much you can do when there's 50,000 people in one little area, you know.
Were these people getting trampled on?
Some people were getting trampled on. Yeah, I tried helping some people, but it's hard. It's when there's so many
you really
teams.
Can't. I mean, if there's people on floor, most people help them up. They're not just literally getting trampled on for no reason. But if you don't see them there, then they're just down there, you know. And I can easily see how that happened, because even at the front, there were some people sitting down. I heard some of those people sitting down weren't even able to get up. So I can only imagine how it was just being underneath there. When up top, it was crazy.
So how did you guys get out then?
Only the strong.
Yeah, I mean,
man, I swear I didn't hear that. I know that's what it was. They had to push their way out on everything. I swear to God, I didn't hear that.
Just make it out. Really.
Yeah, you just gotta.
There's really no other way.
What that boy said.
Right there, when up top, it was crazy.
So how did you guys get out then?
Only the strong survive.
Yeah, I mean, you just make it out. Really.
Yeah, you just gotta.
There's really no other way.
Your ground, really. Stand your.
I mean, it was hard for us, and like I said, I started to panic a little bit too. It was tough, but you kind of just got to keep your composure. As crazy as that sounds.
So you
Believe they done knocked some motherfuckers down trying to get out of there. It's self-preservation at a certain point too.
You said you started to panic. You've been in situations.
Yeah.
You've been part of mosh pits. So tell me when you're starting to panic. I mean,
just because I couldn't really breathe that much, it was getting so tight where I was, like I said, I created my bubble space and my arms were coming back.
So what you think he was doing? He said he couldn't breathe, but he was pushing forward. He started knocking motherfuckers down, and he was walking over motherfuckers too. He had to get up out that bitch. Can you blame him? Hell no. I be doing the same thing. I'm knocking shit down to get up out of there.
In my chest. So at that point, I'm just like, all right, I got to get a little bit of breathing room. I just got myself out of there. But I mean, people were slowly coming out of there. They were just getting dragged over the rails, which happens at most Travis shows. At most Travis shows, there's people that can't handle it and they get dragged over the rails, and they're fine most of the time. It was just way too many people.
so there's hardly any room for even paramedics to get through to help.
No, yeah, it was way too many people. Way too many people. Way too many kids. Way too many parents.
Teams were jumping on the medic cart just to dance. Like, they were jumping on top, like no empathy at all.
Yeah, which is crazy. I wouldn't think that would happen. But like I said, I've been to a bunch of Travis shows. I've never seen this many parents and kids, and literally, like, it's great. You know what I mean? It's a family environment. Come in, but just hang out in the back. You know what I mean? Where it's safe. That's really all I can say.
Well, as we see,
don't mess around. We different from 9 days.
As we see, man, that shit went real bad, man. Could have even been worse. But it was real fucked up, though. And who's going to have to pay? We're going to see in days to come. There's going to have to be a lot of questions to be answered for this shit, man. Yeah. And we're gonna stay in tune with this shit, too. Comment, like, subscribe.